I'm recording. So
Okay. So how does this work? I just like download this to you?
no, we're having a conversation. So like you can share what you have and what you want to,
Okay.
what is it you
So,
want to tell everyone?
all right. So the first thing I want to say is that all of this information I got the first morning I was at Celebration, and like I was so inspired after seeing Eric Worre, and like I just want so much to like try to like recreate that for you. And so those are some big shoes. I'm gonna do the best I can, but this stuff is really awesome, and it's all really simple. It's all stuff that we already do. It's all stuff we already know, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. What's so great about it though is that you don't have to like remember it. It's just stuff that like you're already integrating, and just to hear it one more time is always a good thing, right?
Like
So
being intentional with the things that we're doing and having that expand.
yeah, like for instance, simplicity, you sent us that meme. Yeah. Like, right? Like, isn't that awesome? And yet,
Simplicity is the oxygen of duplication.
right. That's number 3.
Oh, okay. So maybe
So,
we should start with number 1. You want to start with number 1?
well, let me start with, so he had like his PM session and his AM session. So let me start with his AM session, and it's kind of like a preface to the 10 habits of top income earners.
Should I take notes?
Do you want to take notes? I mean, we're recording, so you don't even need to, right?
Well, I mean.
Yeah, take notes.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. So I'm going to give you 3 things that he calls like the 3 pieces to Moneyball. So Moneyball was the movie that came out a few years ago with Brad Pitt. And it was all about the Oakland A's. And essentially, like, the Oakland A's don't have a lot of money. The Yankees have tons of money. They can buy whatever player they want. They can buy all the sluggers. The Oakland A's don't really have that luxury. But what they did have is like a really good strategy. And so what they kind of devised was, we don't have to get people that hit home runs. We just have to get people on base. And right, this is a really good metaphor for network marketing. We just need to get people on base. And if we can get them on base, we'll get them home. We'll get them to like earn a run. And so in Moneyball, what they did was they got people who like just are like really short so that they walked a lot so that they would get on first base. Or they get people that were really good at bunting, not good at hitting like homers, but good at bunting. Or people who were really good at hitting a single. So this is what they did, and they wound up like on a winning spree. So with that in mind, like the Moneyball of network marketing. So the first piece of that is the magic of $1. So we're talking about whether people are earning money their first 6 months. And what he said is that in the first 6 months, if you sign up an associate and he earns $0, they have a 25% retention rate. If that same person in the first 6 months earns $1, so anything, just $1, their retention rate goes from 25% to 75%. Now, if that $1 goes up to $300, the retention rate goes from 75% to 99%. So if we want to retain people, all we have to do is just either get them paid $1 and we go up to 75%, or, just a little bit more than that. You just get them to essentially to consultant with a value pack and a 30-day, and they're retained 99% of the time. So that was number 1. Number 2 is the power of the super recruiter. So for the purposes of this conversation, a super recruiter is anybody who in the history of their entire career with Isagenix recruits 10 people or more. So Heather, you're a super recruiter. I'm a super recruiter. Jessica's a super recruiter, okay? So here's what Eric Worre said. If 1% of the people in your organization are super recruiters, you have negative momentum. If 2% are super recruiters, you're stable. You're neither growing nor shrinking. If you have 3% super recruiters, you actually have double-digit growth. And if you have 4% super recruiters, you have good forward momentum. And that actually is a really good way to explain why it almost feels like our organization has slowed down. Because it really started with all super recruiters. We were 100% super recruiters, and now we're like 5% super recruiters, which is really good. We still have tons of forward momentum. But relative to what we had the first week, we were all business builders, and we were all crushing it. So that just goes to say that we're still in relative to like Isagenix world, we're still crushing it. And it gives like a good kind of reality check. So the third thing that Eric Worre said in relation to Moneyball was like event attendance. He said the fastest way or the easiest way to make $100,000 in this business is to get 100 people to come to an event. And this is really simple. All it is on the average, if for every person you bring to what he called a destination event, so that's an event that it's not down the street. You can't like drive there and then drive and sleep in your bed. It's a place where you wind up sleeping in a hotel. So at any destination event, if you bring someone to a destination event, your income for the following year will increase $1,000. And that's just what he's kind of witnessed over his like 30-year career in network marketing. So for $100,000, you bring 100 people to an event, you just exploded your business. You'll have a $100,000 business the following year. And that's it. That's all he had to say about that. So that is almost everything that we covered in the morning session. The only other thing was like how to share your story. And we had a really fun exercise where we wound up kind of like walking around the room, talking to strangers, and sharing our personal Isagenix stories. And the one thing that really stuck and the one thing he was really trying to share is when you're sharing Isagenix or you're sharing your story, you can't just jump into the Isagenix. You can't just jump into the products. You have to start with the pain and the struggle. That is the connection. That's where we become friends. We're not friends until like you share who you really, it's really about being authentic, right? Like if you can, like for me, you know, when I found out about it, the morning I found out about Isagenix, I was juggling my full-time job and a whole slew of pre-med classes that I wasn't even really excited about, and I was just pretending. And then I got an email from my daughter's attorney saying that I wasn't even going to be able to be my daughter's life. That's what my morning looked like the morning I found out about Isagenix. And since then, I've been able to climb mountains. The future looks bright. I'm surrounded by friends that we're just like building this amazing team, and it looks like, you know, my financial future is like lit with pretty much like freedom and abundance, right?
Yeah, I can't see you.
Oh. You like that? Did a flip. So the moral of the story is like share your pain, share your struggle. That's the juice. And that's everything for the morning session. So with that in mind, we jump right into the 10 habits of success. So like up to this point, do you have any questions?
Well, no. No, I got it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really simple stuff, right? So the 10 habits of success in top earners. So Eric Worre's number one is vision. So what that means is like the bigger, the better. Like if you can imagine it, it's almost not big enough. Like create the biggest, most amazing, most like scariest. If it's not scary, it's not big enough vision for what this looks like. Imagine that, and it all like this, that's the first piece. It all starts to come together from that. And he also mentioned like, we are manager creating machines. Like that's the juice for this business. And it's really cool, right? Because the Cougars created that with you plus two, them plus two. That's the creation of a manager. So if you just keep you plus two, them plus two in your mind, and you create for everybody that comes into this business, that they're the first thing that they want to do is you plus two, them plus two, like that's a business that's ready to explode. So create that. We are you plus two, them plus two, creating machines, and like the bigger the better. So like for me, I wrote down 16-star platinum, 12-star crystal executive. I don't even really know what that means, but it's huge, right? And that's what I challenge every one of us to do. Okay. So number 2 is belief. So belief is it's like what attracts people to you, to the business, to the idea that this is going to grow and be the freedom and love and abundance. Like when you believe in it, it gives people the space to believe in it. And when you have doubts about it, it shuts that off. So like more than anything else, like believe in the products, like try new products, answer your questions, read up on like what the products are about, and like make sure that you are a magnet for your own belief, because that belief is contagious and the contagiousness is contagious. So number 3, and this is your oxygen one, right? So number 3 is simplicity. Focus on half a dozen things and that's it. Do not overcomplicate. This is where like Alexis Romano, she created systems. It took her 3 years to develop those systems. And like when we teach our people the systems, and that's one of the things that we're focusing on, and then our people teach their people, and then their people teach their people, that's a duplicatable system. It is simple. It is easy. We just direct them to the website. We're not overcomplicating it. One of the things that I personally like struggle with a little bit is that I actually have a little bit of a science background. So instead of directing people to videos, I try to over-explain, and that is not duplicatable. That doesn't work, right? Like if I can explain it, that's great. And then I've now trained somebody to not be able to explain it to the next person. So by keeping it really simple, focusing on just like half a dozen things, and really doing more listening than talking when it comes to prospecting, that's all duplicatable, and that's a recipe for success. Number 4, positivity. I love this one. It like all it does is it boils down to, and here's what he said: if someone comes to you with a problem, they're the problem. So I'm going to say it one more time. If someone comes to you with a problem, they're the problem. Again, so like I've totally been the problem, right? Like when it came to the now totally available dairy free, like I was kind of panicking about that, and I was creating a situation where 1, my belief wasn't there, 2, like I was doubting, and 3, there wasn't like positivity, right? And I was being the problem. I was creating like a negative environment, right? So like if you're a strong leader, like negativity will find another place to go. Just don't encourage like problems and like foster that. Just foster positivity.
What you focus on expands.
Absolutely. What you focus on expands.
Got it.
Number 5, he called it hard work. Chris and I were calling it action. And then he called us all out. He said, if you have in the last 30 days done 1 presentation every single day, raise your hand. And like 3 people in the entire room raised their hands. And he's like, look guys, here's like, I'm going to level with you. You'd all guess if this was your full-time job, you'd be fired. Like this is not that hard. Just do 1 presentation every single day. You got to keep it moving. This is a job that it's easy, but it takes work. It takes real hard work. And for me and for a lot of us, like we see this carrying our financial lives into the long-term future. We have to keep it moving, and we have to keep like prospecting. So like 4 to 6 presentations every single day to win big. And you'll be happy to know that you're in really good company if you're not doing that. And for those of us like Susan Sly or Alexis Romano, the ones who are really winning big, they do a presentation every single day and it's closer to 6. So if you want to win big like that, that's how to get there. Number 6, focus. So he said like laser beams, like undistracted by distractions, like expansion, like international expansion, and don't worry about other opportunities. Like we've chosen this business. This is an awesome business. It's an awesome company. And he has never seen in his entire career, like it sounds like it could be a good idea to say, hey, you know, like here's this opportunity. Here's another opportunity. I can split my focus. He's never seen that work. It never works. Like this is the opportunity you've chosen. Just focus on it. And within 3 to 6 years, you will be either a 6-figure income earner or a 7-figure income earner, period. Number 7, be unreasonable. I love this because it's landmark, right? Like when he says unreasonable, he says top leaders change the norm. They are outrageous. They take stands. They don't worry about offending someone. They're totally over the top and they don't fit in. And so like what his kind of story was somebody like sat him down, somebody on his team, like when he first started, he was like the leader of a group and his goals were always like totally over the top. And the guy sat him down. He's like, look, Eric, what I'm about to say might really insult you. He's like, okay, you know, like I can take it. Tell me what it is. And he said, well, you know, like everybody's laughing at you. He said, well, what do you mean? He said, like your goals, you're not hitting any single goal. You're not hitting a single one. Just like lower them just a little bit and we'll take you seriously. So he thought about it for a little while. And what he said was, actually, Paul, what I'm going to do is increase my goals. They're not nearly outrageous enough. And the point of this is if you miss, you still hit the moon, right? Like that's the person that succeeds at this business. The people that their goals are absolutely outrageous. So like for Heather wants to transform like all of healthcare, like have at it. Like that is awesome. That is inspirational and it will cause traction. Like it will cause a follow. So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Number 8, promotion. So I smiled at Chris and Chris smiled back at me at this one. He said, #relentless, right? Like it's just like, it's promoting your business. It's always being in the energy of this is what I'm up to. You know, you're sitting next to somebody in a plane. It's an opportunity to talk about isogenics. It's an opportunity to talk about the transformation of healthcare. It's an opportunity to talk about what we're doing here. It's really simple. Number 9, strategy. It's creating a roadmap from like all of what we've developed so far, all of the unreasonable, amazing, outrageous goals to the actions it takes to realize those goals. And the strategy has to be flexible enough to like if it needs to change, it can change, but it also needs to be rigid enough to stay when the going gets tough. So he said like not dogma, but adaptable. Number 10, immersion, right? And so this is the last one. And it's essentially like we have created the ABJ team. We are surrounding ourselves with each other. We are surrounding ourselves with like isogenics. We're surrounding ourselves with business builders. We're surrounding ourselves and steeping ourselves in a culture of success. We're going to the events and we're learning and finding that this is all possible and doable. And in so doing, we're excited about the future. And it's the loop that connects all 10 of these habits. And then we go right back to number 1, which is the vision, right? So ultimately, like we totally have control over all of this. We have control over our emotional state. And by putting these in action, what starts to unfold is really organic. Like this will start to happen when we are immersed in the culture, when we put the strategy together, when we're constantly promoting, when we're being totally unreasonable with our goals, when we're focused, when we're working hard, when we're totally positive, when we're keeping it simple, when we believe, and when we have a vision. This all starts to unfold for us. We are totally new at this business. It took Jody 3 years to hit 6 figures. And I think we're doing an unbelievable job, guys. And I'm totally still absolutely over the top excited for what we're creating. And that's it. That's the whole thing.
Okay. So do you have a request?
Yeah, I do. So this is kind of like, you're going to get a little bit more of this on Monday, I think during Jody's call, but numero uno, everybody I think is participating in the 90-day game plan. And so if you haven't signed up for the 90-day game plan, go online, sign up for the 90-day game plan, watch your video. And every Wednesday, let's get together and talk about like the previous week's training. And we'll talk about like where we're getting stopped and where we're having successes. Number 2, as an adjunct to the 90-day game plan, and it totally fits with what the 90-day game plan is. The last piece that Eric Worre said is using all of that, using the 10 habits. He said, in order for a plane to get off the ground, we are an airplane. This is the metaphor, okay? In order for an airplane to get off the ground, you can't just slow and steady 20% throttle, like plowing through the woods. That's not going to work. Eventually, your runway will run out, and you're plowing through the woods. You've lost your wings, and you're never getting off the ground at 20% throttle. What you really need to do is punch it. And you don't have to punch it for a week, you don't have to punch it for a month or a year, but you do have to punch it for short periods of time to get off the ground. And that might look like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 weeks of like hard, steady work. So what Jody and what Eric Worre has devised is what Jody is calling, and it goes with the 90-day game plan, the 20-30 immersion or the 20-30 intensive. So if you're on board, more of this is going to be like unveiled on Monday. So I'm not going to like give all the details, but this is kind of a teaser. The idea here is that every week for the first 2 weeks, we're going to like make lists and contact 100 people per week. 100 people per week with the intention of next month, starting this coming Monday, everybody signs up on their own, 20 new people. And if you can imagine, like right now, like our entire organization's downline has 100 people. We've got 8 to 10 like really serious business builders. That would more than double our business. And so like whatever you're making right now, imagine like more than doubling, tripling, or quadrupling. That's what it looks like. And in the process, we're transforming lives. So more of that will be unveiled on Monday. And so that's just really a teaser. And I look forward to connecting with everybody next Wednesday to talk about the 90-day game plan.
Okay. Well, can I add a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the 90-day game plan walked you through your why and your vision, and then our group vision. And I think that us being a collective body, we have a lot more power together, and holding that vision collectively will also give us more opportunity to magnetize people, business builders, into our group. And so my request is by Wednesday at some point before our next call and the next 90-day video that comes out, game plan, is like we all share, like we can get related to each other from our why. And once we have our why like really embedded in our mind, like in our being is our why, we have that as a reference point. Like that is our antenna resonance point that has us move from be in action and relate to other people. And we're not relating like we're not relating to their neocortex. So we're not relating to their decision-making machine. We're relating to their heart. We're relating to what's important to them. We bypass all of the no's, and they get to see what's available for them, and they become what this company, what our mission is all about. And they join on like with ease and simplicity and fun. So my request is that we have fun for the next couple of days until we talk again.
Yeah.
And start sharing our why. Like, why are we together? Why are you doing this? What is important to you? Who do you want to serve? And who do you need to take care of? Who are you responsible for? I'm responsible for 3 amazing human beings. that need to be empowered, inspired by their mother being a super badass, making a difference for the people who are around me and for healthcare. They know I'm committed to it. And if I don't do it, they're going to come back to me and say, Mom, what the heck are you doing? We don't believe in you. So I'm believing in myself. I'm believing in you. And I'm counting you to share your why. And that's
Absolutely. I love it. Absolutely. Thank you, Heather. That was awesome.
You're welcome. And no, that's it. What time is it? How long have we been going?
8:26. It's only been 26 minutes.
Oh my gosh, we have 4 minutes. We took up 30 minutes of your time. Hopefully it was inspiring. And if you like this format and you want to join in next time, or if we, I don't know, do you want to do this again? Do you want to do this after? I don't know. Like, just, yeah, make some requests of us.
Wednesday calls, right?
Wednesday
like
calls.
People like totally available on Wednesday calls to like make requests, and even we've got about 1 million ways to connect, right? Actually, I have one more request. If you have a way that you like to connect, since we have like about 1,000, if we could start homing in on the ways that really work. So let us know, like let the group know which are the ways that we like to connect.
Well, it seems to be like what I'm noticing is that people are connecting on Facebook Messenger through the ABJ group.
Yep.
And then we have that platform so that we can communicate via text also. And then
Which platform?
The Facebook group, the Facebook page, the ABJ page.
Okay.
And then we can do invites and we can share this video, for instance, and we can share more training and discussion videos here.
Yeah, and if there's anything else that people want to see or they like more than other ways, just, yes. Let your voice be heard.
Yes. And if there's problems with positivity, like, we're all here to support each other.
Absolutely.
So we can always turn a negative into a positive, no matter what. And like you said, like, people with problems, like, we need to be clear. And so I'm committed to clarity and having that for everyone in our group. So namaste.
Namaste.
See you Wednesday.
So how does this work?
So I stop recording.
Okay.